Last week I challenged myself to create an entire game in the Unity game engine for my very first time. I learned a lot throughout the whole process, and I suffered at points but had a great time all around. Right off the bat, we have to answer, what's the game about, and who's the main character? Well, I'm proud to reveal, you play as a Roomba. A Roomba? I guess, yeah, a Roomba who does Roomba things, roaming around, sweeping up dust. Yes, it sounds lame, but if you comment any suggestions, I will add them, like upgrades, cosmetics, flamethrowers. And for now, the game's working title is Resident Robot. Also guys, I want to show you a magic trick. Whenever I say the word subscribe, look what it did. Below the little subscribe button, it lights up. So, subscribe. I fired up Unity and I started adding our player, who for now is actually just a can of tuna. So after that I slapped on a rigid body and a collider, but it fell down through the floor, probably because of the cylinder collider, so I just deleted that and settled for a red cube. I added physics to that, and then after that I imported a Unity package called the Cinemachine, which is just a simple package for the creation of dynamic camera movement, and I just used it for the smooth camera movement because it's easier than coding. Then after that I wanted to implement codes that will have the player object face the direction that it's moving and keep the player camera at a fixed distance. This is not really a difficult thing to implement if you're not an idiot like me, and it wasted 5 hours of my time. The code worked fine, but it didn't vibe with the camera from Cinemachine, so I had to be done for the day, because things are getting a bit swept up. The next day, I fixed an issue by changing literally one setting in the Cinemachine inspector, and here it is now, functioning as intended. So now we can kick up some dirt with the dirt mechanics. Since real life Roombas can clean up dust and lint and evidence, I implemented where if the player stays in a trigger zone or the hitbox of an object tagged dirt, then it gets vacuumed up or erased from existence. Also, the player must collect a certain amount of dirt to progress into further levels. I got it working. I am a genius. I tightened up the movement by just messing around with the Unity input manager in the project settings, so that way you don't move around like you're on ice. Next up, I took the player, which is actually just a cube of jello, and I shredded it to hell in a blender. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I opened a blender, I started modeling the player. I went off of a sweeping bot design I found elsewhere. Using this design, I made a basic low poly mesh, and next I created the player texture and began painting using the texture paint mode to give it little eyes. Next, I added a little spinning brush blade to the front so that they can spin whenever the player's moving, or just whenever. And that pretty much concludes the player model designing process. Back in Unity, I added a little spinner script to move the sweeping brushes. And after that, I added a level loading system that loads the next level when the cleaning goal is met. Additionally, it will reload the current level when the player dies or runs out of battery. The player can progress if they touch the blue cube and they have fulfilled the dirt quota. And after that, I added a battery slider to see how long the player has before they die. Now it's time for the level design. I planned on blocking it out in Unity and then just using the FBX exporter package to Blender for the final result. And I added a little box to hide a little dirt under and you can push it around. And I made a sound for the robot whenever you finish cleaning up a stain. And I added it onto the player object, but I already had an audio source that plays a little motor sound whenever the player is moving, so it didn't really work. So I just solved the problem by playing sweeping sound on a different object. So not a very smart solution, but at least it's intuitive. Next, I made a little bit of dynamic UI elements to track the amount of dust you cleaned and to state the current objective. I also added a little spinning obstacle that uses the same script as on the player's motors, or on the little spinny things. Because you know what they say, work harder, not farther. I exported the level block out to Blender and I textured them with the same technique as the player model, using a sort of texture atlas. And then after that, I put them back into Unity and I beat all 3 of the levels without any difficulty or sarcasm. And then I beat all 3 levels without any difficulty or sarcasm. Anyways, if you liked watching the process and you liked the video, consider subscribing or liking or whatever you want to do. But I'm going to keep on making devlog videos like this, so the next one's going to be pretty cool too, so I would stay tuned. Yeah, leave a comment, tell me what you want, tell me what you think, and I'll catch you guys later. yeah, guys, like genuinely, I'll continue making the game if you guys are interested. So, if this video gets 25 likes, I will make another episode, finish up the game, and then I might even make a build, and I'll publish it so all you guys can play it too. But I think we should just sit here and chill out from all the chaos. You know, man. You know what? It be like that sometimes. Maybe. I gotta go to work in a couple minutes. And I hate working. Oh! I dropped a little trinket. Oh no. Where did it go? Anyways, I'll see you later. How do I stop this?